In the last week's verses, we saw that Krishna mentioned about how God manifests, how he himself manifests in this world. And he also told Arjuna that anyone who knows the secret of how God manifests, what does it mean that God manifesting, or what is the presence of God? He told about those things. He mentioned that yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata, wherever there is a decline in dharma and wherever there is an increase in adharma, that is when I manifest. And then paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, I manifest also to protect the good ones and to destroy the evil ones. So anytime in, if you have been thinking about what is this concept called God, if you have ever wondered about it, and you have been reading a lot of things, we have been learning a lot of things about this Puranam, this whatnot, epics, Itihasam, everything, right? That if it had any time you have pondered over it, what is this concept called God, and what it all means to me, and what is my relationship to God? Because end of the day, that is the only thing that remains. What is our relationship to that superpower? That's the only thing that matters. How are we related to that source? Where did we originate from? And where are we headed towards? We are a traveler just visiting this earth for few years. And that is the way to every day, just to think about God. Why is it that we have a lot of love and affection towards our loved ones and not towards God? God, if you ask most people, they will have fear. I'm God fearing. They will say, I don't know why we should be scared or feared of God. Because God is in every attempt, in every epic or Puranam or Itihasam you listen to, he always declares that all are my children. So he is ultimately dad of all dads. He is our dad, father figure. That is what God is. And Mahalakshmi is mother figure. Both mean one and the same, right? So then why should we be feared? God fearing, that word itself is not correct, right? We should not use that. God loving. Why can't we have that kind of an affection or relationship towards God? We should ask such questions. And where did we originate from? Just this body happens to be delivered by our parents. But we also learn that this body is not us. Our true identity is that Atman. This body just belongs to this earth for this many duration. But our Atman is eternal, lives forever. And there is no destruction to that. So what is our origin? Where did we originate from? Who is responsible for that? Then that, as we deeply think about it, then we go deeper into ourselves, and we will be curious to know the relationship between us and that super Atman. As long as we tend to assume that this body is me, we will never ever be able to ask such questions, eternal questions of what is the connection between me and God. Whatever God that we say, Krishna or Rama or Lakshmi or anyone, Shiva or any such thing, is merely a handful of words that we play with. Nothing is touching our hearts, right? So that is the reason, very reason, that Krishna in the last few verses mentioned, what is God? Where am I manifesting? Where am I in this world? And what is my link to you? It's precisely answered in the last two verses. How did he do that? He told that I am right inside you and I manifest in every action that you perform, that is towards protecting the good and destroying the bad. Paritranaya sadhunam, the good ones inside you, to protect that. And if we perform actions that signifies it, then right there God manifests. Now if you look at it, there are two types of actions that we all do in life. We'll do many actions because life is full of actions. An action oriented life is. The time we are born, we cry. That is the first action we do. The last breath, until then we breathe. Last breath, people call it as last breath. Breathing action. In between, millions and billions of actions, right? All these actions make up who we are. But if you identify a person, and then if I ask you what type of person is he or she, you will immediately remember about those person, what type of actions that person was doing before, and that actions will define that person. Who we are identified by our actions, and the actions that we repeatedly do in our life becomes our habit. The more frequently we do few actions, we develop muscle memory, right? We just effortlessly do that action and we don't even apply our mind anymore. Our body is doing that action, our mind is disengaged, and we do many 80% of the actions with the disengaged mind. Their mind is not even attached to what I'm doing. That includes talking, that includes walking, that includes doing many actions, including driving. For example, when you are driving, all of a sudden, when a cat or a dog jumps in front of your car, immediately you step on the brake pedal without even any application of brain. In impulsive and at that instant, you will do it. You yourself will wonder, luckily I just pressed on the brake pedal. How did you do it? I don't know. Just the instinct. Right? So that is muscle memory. And that's because we have been repeatedly practicing that, and that has become gotten into our mind. And that is actually, in a way, helpful. That is also hurting us in the sense we repeatedly do with disengaged mindset. At times we utter words that hurt others and we don't even realize we hurt because we have been in the habit of talking, and we think that okay, that is not, and we not even aware of it, that we said a few words until that person or that person's friend talks to us, and then they say that how can you say all those words to him or her, she was so upset, he was so upset. Then we'll be like, did I say those words? Oh yeah, I did say that. That much amount of ignorance pervades our mind. And actions also, many actions that we do, we don't even realize that how it is impacting others. Now we are so much into that actions. So the reason I'm speaking about actions is We should stop a moment. That is why every once in a while meditation is important. The meditation that people, yoga and meditation, is a big overloaded, misused, abused word, especially in the US. Meditation, big misuse. We don't even, many people don't even know what that word means. We simply talk about meditation so as a stress reliever. Calm your mind. Even when you go to any websites, especially the US based websites, there will be one woman sitting with eyes closed. That's all meditation is all about. Any website, that is all it is, right? So that is not meditation. Meditation is to slow down. Meditation is to cease actions, because we have been patterned to do few actions without even applying our mind. We stop, we slow down, we stop doing actions. That includes thinking also. Thinking is also an action. You can say that I'm just sitting not doing anything, but no, that is a lie, because inside our mind thousands of thoughts are running. That is also an action. So meditation is like absolutely zero actions, which includes thoughts as well. Now when we do that, then we go deeper into that and zero out our mind and slow down, and then when we do the action next time, it will be with consciousness. Meditation should help develop or improve consciousness in the actions that we do. If meditation is not helping that, then meditation is not effective. Meditation is not a stress reliever. It is an understatement to say that meditation is all about stress relief. Meditation is going deeper and acquiring consciousness, because that consciousness is gone. What is the consciousness, right? The consciousness is very simple. I mean, when you ask what is, define the consciousness, our parents always brought us the consciousness, reminded us the consciousness, and that is what we are not doing to our children. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it, or we don't want to do it most of the times out of our own affection. But our parents and parents at times used to bring the consciousness. What is that? If we do anything that upsets them, the parents, or if we say a word that upsets them, they immediately, you know what happens back home. You get a slap saying that keep quiet, do not talk as if you are a grown up, right? Consciousness is that the moment that boy or a girl gets a slap, wakes up, that person wakes up, oh, what is happening? I said few things that I should not have told. The consciousness is that, oh, I'm doing an action that I'm not supposed to do. So every time that, now no one parents cannot come and give a slap, we should slap ourselves every once in a while. I mean, at least not literally, but mentally give a slap saying that, am I doing this thing right? That is when we can make sure that our actions are all consciously performed. Otherwise, it is mechanical and we are just doing something. We are not even getting any feedback from others that what you are doing is right or what you are doing is wrong. Now, in those actions, whatever actions that we have been doing from day 0 to day n, you can classify those actions into two groups. First group of actions, I mean, a boy or a girl is born and then grows into boyhood, girlhood, and then bachelorhood, young adult, and then an adult, and gets married, and then father mother role, right? And then a grandfather, grandmother, and then great grandfather, and then one day done. In this duration, we meet many people, we talk and we interact, and then we live our life, do many other things. All these actions can be grouped into two things. One group of actions can be called divine actions. Other group of actions are called non-divine actions. That is all about it. The entire group of actions carries divine actions, non-divine actions. Now, in the shloka, what Krishna mentions is that paridranaya sadhunam duna vinashaya dushkritam. That one, and then yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata. Whenever dharma declines, dharma increases. I am born to protect the good ones. I am born to destroy the evil ones. I am born. Our actions, two, one is divine actions, other one is non-divine actions. Divine actions, whenever that person, that Atman, because divine actions are not with that human being, divine actions are from within. That Atma is performing from within. That is called divine action. We will see what they are. But whenever the divine actions are performed, that is when God manifests himself in this world. Rest of the actions, God doesn't manifest. What are those divine actions? A divine action, that whatever that we perform in our lifetime, are the ones where actions performed to enhance the life of others without expecting anything, enhance the life of people around me, make this society, make this neighborhood, make this world a better place. Whatever actions that we do, and actions performed in that manner and without any expectations back, is called a divine action, because that spiritual energy inside us is God. Right? Energy is nothing but that spiritual energy sitting inside, locked up inside, and that spiritual energy is trying to make this universe a better place, because that is the only thing for that Brahman, for that God or Brahman or universe or anything that you call Parabrahman. Only thing that wants is this universe should be a better place. And if that energy is inside us and we are performing actions to reflect that, then we are doing divine actions. How can we do that? Now, uh, a beggar walks on the road. A beggar prayed that day, let's say, to, I don't have any food, I'm hungry. God is not going to physically go and give food to him. Only humans have to give. Either you have to give, I have to give to that beggar who is handicapped or who is not able to work or earn or any such thing. Only you and I have to help. And I help or you help, give without just thinking that, what a poor world this is when I have so much, this person is on the road. Unequal. I should just give whatever that I have to him. Let him eat. I don't want him to starve tonight. That thought, that action, God manifests there. That is what that Vishnu wants it at that time, right? To be done through us. He is just performing that action through our arms, through our eyes, through our legs. When we go walk and then give it, God does it. God manifested right there. So if that is the definition of God that everyone holds in their heart, then um, this world will be a much better place than attaching a lot of religious related things towards my beliefs and then stuck to it. And if there is a beggar comes, I am not going to do it. I let these people are, few people will not give, but they will give, ask a lot of, they will lash out a lot of words. If you ask them why you didn't give, they will say that no, these, I don't want to give to that because they may be drug addicts, or I don't want to give it to them because they will spend the money. That is a question that most people have. In fact, many people ask that question, that I want to give, but I don't know, the money that I'm giving should be given to the right place, and it should not go to the wrong hands. I'm very worried about it. We don't have to worry about that at all. That is not our duty. That my action is, my thought is, this world should be a better place. I trust that person. He will make use of it very well. He will put to use. The society should be good. That is what my boundary ends, and I donate it. Let that person be a cheat also. He is going to reap the fruits. We don't have that judgment. We cannot say that, we don't have to knowingly give to wrong people, but then we don't have to exercise that kind of a judgment and restrain and not giving it, right? So that action of making others around us live better is called the divine actions. Such divine actions, let's say, I just wanted to bring this up in front of you, and you are the better judge of your own life. Just look back and then think yourself how many, and any other action that we do that doesn't have this kind of thought within us is called non-divine actions, which includes how can I entertain myself, how can I get pleasures for myself. That includes food or visual or any such thing. How can I be happy? That is the absolute non-divine. That doesn't mean that you should starve. If we starve, then again that is non-divine. We are making sure that our atma stays in this body so that we can make this a world a better place. So eat for the sake of eating. Sleep for the sake of sleeping. This body needs a sleep. This body needs food. This body needs this. I'm doing it, but not any luxuries for ourselves. Then that is called a non-divine action. There is nothing like non-divine action is bad. So do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Non-divine actions are bad. Divine actions are good. That is where we are doing the mistake. This is a classification, grouping of actions. Now, when you look back, this action is a divine action. This action is a non-divine action. We cannot live without non-divine actions. Non-divine actions, there is nothing like out of divinity first place. Everything we do is divine only. There is nothing out of God. But if somebody pampers, then we can say that it is nothing to do with divinity, but it has to do with this body. This body is material nature, which is based on the 5 elements of nature. This body is made, and whatever this body asks, we don't have to answer it. If this body asks for more sweets, more anything, we don't have to honor it, because this is just material nature of this body to ask and to ask and to ask, and to enjoy, and then to be attached to the whatever that is there in this world. Tongue is attached to the foods that are around this world. Eyes are attached to the visuals around the world. So there is a nature. That is how God himself has created this world and created this body. And so every action is under the divine action only. There is nothing out of it. But within that, smart people know the difference between what is truly divine and what is the play of Maya. Maya is also inside God only, right? But these are all actions of tricks of Maya, tricks of illusion. So when one is aware of it, then one tries to perform. Let's say in your up to this point of time, how many divine actions we all would have done? Just think about it. Which is like, I'm doing this action because this world should be a better place. Let me do that action. Let me do this action. Let me do that. Let me help him. Let me help her. Let me use words that are good, sweet, Let me use the power of words so that bring peace and joy and happiness in others' life. Let me use actions. Let me use the strength of my hands so that others' life are made better. Let me use the power of legs that have been given to me so that others are live a decent enough life. Right? Such thoughts must be born within us. When we are listening to Bhagavad Gita, that is when he says that such divine actions are the ones that will manifest me. That is when right there you can say that if someone you see that if anyone is helping anyone else, you have seen God. You can say that I have seen God through my eyes, because God is not that person who is helping also. The action, that manifestation is right there. You can say that there is God exists, right? And uh, when we are performing those actions repeatedly in our life, let's say, imagine what happens. Repeatedly we actually think about and do and say words that are only to make sure that others around me stay happy, peacefully, good life. They should at no cost be going through pain, especially not at my cost, because there are other problems that may affect others, but it should not be because of me, that is for sure. But if anything else, other extraneous reasons affect them, I will be there for them to help. That is my only sole purpose of life, which is to be, if a person lives such a life repeatedly doing actions again and again, then the divinity inside that person grows, right? Because right now we all are will do that action, divine actions, but maybe once in a week is itself is a big thing. If we do once in a week, that is also good. Once in a week I volunteer. I don't expect anything, which is also good. But that is all we can do. 1 hour I will volunteer. Rest of the time we all are spending for ourselves, which is also okay, not bad. But assume that a person starts living their life with the thought of only making this world a better place repeatedly again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Slowly, initially it's 1 hour, after that 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and then that goes strong in that person's mind and heart, that divinity becomes part of life. That spiritual energy is overflowing within ourselves. There is no dam that can stop the waters of spiritual energy that is flowing within ourselves. Right? So that will be the presence of absolute God's God within ourselves. So everyone can experience that, but are we willing to do such actions that are divine in nature? And how intensely we can do, how much we can do, how much we can offer ourselves into those actions is the question. So by doing that, we purify ourselves, and we are also becoming one with that superpower called Atman. And why we should do that and how we should do that is with the thought that this world is created by my father, and I have a deep link with him, and he is with me all the time. That is the only link, strong link, and he is acting through me. He cannot act all by himself. He has given me this form and make this place a better place, and only through me few things can be done. That is why we always say that no one in this world is uh, you know useless or any such thing. People say that that is incorrect. Everyone has purpose. They can help the people around them. That is the purpose, one and only purpose. Not to just live a life of my own. We all have to live a life of our own, but then that is not the only goal. Then we are swimming more in the non-divine action, which that means that again we will be born, we will be performing only non-divine actions, and then we will go and take birth after birth after birth after birth. There is no end to it. So now the next the question is that um, how will he respond to it? Why is why few people are able to perform that, and why few people are not able to perform divine actions? Few people are against divinity absolutely, and few people are action only oriented. Why there is variation is what is going to be answered in the next few shlokas. Let's see what those are. Let me share here and then okay. uh, we have been looking at Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Yeah. So Vita Raga Bhaya also is. Yeah. 11th verse. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vatmanuvartante manushyah partha sarvasah. So he says that how will the effects be when we do? Krishna declares that ye yatha mam prapadyante. That means whatever and howsoever others do it, meaning involving in the divine actions or offer themselves, that much is what I reciprocate them. Tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. That means I have to reciprocate, or I am reciprocating to them as much as they do. That's all he says. He didn't say anything. He didn't elaborate it. He said, I reciprocate only as much as they perform the actions or they are willing to offer themselves. Prapadyante. Surrender is what the absolute meaning. How much ever the person is willing to surrender unto me, I am reciprocating to them. So if the intensity of making this place a better one is a little bit, then that is how much I reciprocate them. It is nothing that I do anything. It is like a ball that is thrown on a wall. It reflects back as much energy that you use. If you just use less energy, then the ball returns back with a similar energy. If you strike the wall with a hard energy, with a lot of force, an equal amount of force, it returns back to us. Same way he says, people's actions, it's not me. How much ever divinity they express within themselves, that much is what they get. There is nothing in this, I do not play any role. It's all about them. But however, he also had the next line, that interesting line, that mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasah. Even though I do not do anything, and then I just wait and reciprocate as much as they do, but still everything, Arjuna, everything in this universe is happening as per my direction, as per my wish. There is nothing in this world that is happening out of their will. I have the will, and I know Everything happens is as per my direction, my control. So now that those words are so powerful words, if you look at it, those words are absolutely powerful. If you have been a keen listener and observing it, then you will see that these words declared by him is really transformative, in the sense that we don't have to question whatever happening around us. Why is it like this? In the sense, like, why we don't have, in the sense, not to ask about knowing for knowing purpose, but we don't have to worry about it. Oh, why, I don't know why this happens like this. Why she has to be like this? Why he has to be like this? Why it has to be like this? Why things happen the way they happen in my life? Those questions are absolutely no meaning. Because he says that Mama Vartmanu Vartante, everyone follow my path, and I hold the reins. I'm having the control within myself, and I hold the reins, right? But still people are motivated to, people with their way, whatever way they respond, I respond back. He says both, but end of it all, I hold the ultimate reins. Now a little bit of contradiction here, right? One thing is, he says that he is holding the control, and now the second thing, if he is holding the control, then I do not have anything. But then he says that the first part, you, whatever you do, I reciprocate, I do not have anything to it. So now how to relieve the confusion, the contradiction? The next shloka has the answer for it. Let's see that. Okay. Next two slokas. Kangshantah karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devatah kshipram himanushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. So people perform, the meaning of this is people worship devas, so that they get quick results. Immediately the results should happen. So they do all the pujas, which are, they are all true. Because he himself mentioned in the previous few verses before, that I have created such a system that you do the prayers, do your offerings to other devatas, and they will provide you with the benefits. And so this is mutual, right? So he has created it. And how to do that? Again, they are it has to be done with detachment. But here he says that out of desires, kankshantaha, desiring to make their actions successful, they will pray, and then to the demigods, right, lesser powers, and then so that the results are immediately transformed, which is all okay. Again, they are driven by uh, my control. The thing here is that for all the non-divine actions that we do, that is how we are all doing. People are having, earning a lot of wealth and living a nice life. We see that we don't know what is happening inside their life, but we will simply say that they are happy, he is happy, she is happy. That is again a big uh, incorrect thing that we are doing. Everyone is going through, on an average, the same life. Just because having some money more less doesn't mean that they are having a better life and we are having a bad life, or vice versa. But everyone on an average, that is why he's saying that I'm holding the control within myself. Now people do, for immediate benefits, worship, do prayers, do offerings, for expecting immediate benefits. But however, what they do not realize is this. That is the next thing that he is going to say, which is Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaramapi mam vidhyakartaram avyayam. Now this is the most controversial verse ever in Bhagavad Gita, right? If there is a one verse that is the most controversial, this is the one. That is because of the misunderstanding. So the verse states that Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam. That means that Krishna himself puts his hand on his chest and he declares that I have created the four Varnas. That is part of my work and I created it. The divisions of four Varnas based on the Guna Karma Vibhagasaha. Guna Karma means qualities. Qualities not in terms of good person, bad person, not that quality. Qualities in terms of nature. We will see more about it. Based on the natural qualities, I have created the four divisions. Tasya kartaram api mam. Even though I did it, whatever that way that I mentioned to you, Arjuna. Vidhyakartaram avyayam. Know it to be the fact that I have done it with a disengaged impartiality. I didn't do it anything. I didn't do it anything. I didn't do it anything even though I have done it. Now this is always the case with Krishna, right? He say something, next statement he will say right the opposite. Even though I am the one who created it, know it to be I am the one who didn't do anything. So what does that mean? First let's understand the first part of it. The four divisions that have been created in the society, and because of that we go through lots and lots of confusions, right? As far as he is concerned, he is trying to create a society, and in a society is nothing but a group of people. Imagine this. I'm just giving you an empty island, just plain empty island with 1000 square miles. Let's take Hawaii Islands, right? That doesn't have any habitation, no people are there. Now you are in charge of bringing in people and habitating them. How will you think? You think about it for a moment. You needed to maintain and grow. You wanted that land. You are now playing the role of the divine, right? You have to now just think like God. That place called Hawaii have to grow, flourish, and be well, and then go more and more in all aspects. Now the way that we need to think, that is, if everything has to be, everyone has to grow and that place itself has to flourish, then there are multiple functions that need to be performed. In a typical organization, there will be something like a marketing department, sales department, engineering department, finance department, various other departments are there, and we are okay with that. And no one is asking like, how can you say that sales department, and here we say that how can you say Shudra is this and then Vaishya is that and all those divisions. How Krishna himself can make such a division, and he is the one who is responsible for it. We all are, many people argue, we don't argue of course, but the arguers are outside. They argue that how can he create such a division. Division is okay. Division is there everywhere. Family itself has a division. Wife and husband, male female. So people are accepting that division, and male has to do few things, female has to do few things, and it can be so. That is when the family can operate well. The kids, it's not any expectation that mother is the only one who has to take care of kids, but you all know that we are observing the pattern, how it is when I say a pattern, it is not a rule, there are exceptions, but majority, if you give children to fathers, you know what quality of job of taking care of children fathers do versus mothers do. Superior when a mother takes care of her children. That doesn't mean that father should not take care, but fathers have some limitations, and it is based on the numbers. So many dads, if you look at it, out of that probably 5%, 2% of the fathers may take care of the children very well, just like mothers do. But 98% of the mothers will mostly, there are exceptions. Not all mothers can take care of their children very well. 98% will take. So that clearly shows that the functional responsibility of taking care of children is better done by mothers. That doesn't mean that they should not go out and work. So do not go into such discussions. But who can do that job very well? If you ask, based on the numbers that we have, we all go by data, right now, based on the numbers. And if you ask the children to vote, I don't have to give the judgment. If you ask the children to vote, they will vote for mothers. They are the ones who will not get upset. Patients are extreme, right? So they go by that. Then going out and performing intensive hard work. Again, do not get me wrong, women are there who are joined armed forces. I know many women who are in the military, who are in the Air Force, Navy. Vice President himself is a woman. Nobody discounts that, and that is improving also. However, if there is a real hard physical labor, just look at that part of it. How many women are there? How many men are there? There is nothing to say like men are stronger, women are weaker. Do not go into that kind of thing. Generally, what patterns that we observe is there are few things that few people can do, few things few people may not have the orientation, strengths, or mindset to perform. So we have jobs in the society. If you are thinking about an island will have many jobs. Children are born, and if you need to educate them. So academics becomes the number one, most knowledge becomes number one. And there should be a group of people who teach knowledge to others, and they are called Brahmanas. Brahmanas are not necessarily the ones that who. Any academician, any educator, anyone who teaches knowledge to others is a Brahmana. It's not by birth. Not by birth. By birth, no one calls a Brahmana. But if you are willing to give your knowledge to others, if you are willing to learn and pass that knowledge to others, because the very description of a Brahmana is learn, teach, practice. Learn, practice, teach. Learn, practice, teach. As a Brahmana, every Brahmana should keep. They will have to practice what practice. Not enough. Teach others, teach others. That is the definition of a Brahmana. Now when that such a Brahmana, that name itself is, people will be like, okay, that's something, you should not use it. Brahmana is just a word, but that word meaning we haven't understood it. That means it is academically whoever knowledge givers, right? And then the next requirement for Brahmana is Do not be driven by money and desires. By teaching, I should not expect that you give me $1,000 every month or you give me $1 million. Then I will teach you. Teaching should be done without expectation. That is also a responsibility of a Brahmana. If anyone is doing that, then he can be clearly called a Brahmana. And there is no restriction to it. So Krishna now here says that four varnas are based on the duties that they have to perform, and those duties, Arjuna, are driven by the qualities that they are built with from inside. Meaning this body itself is built. For example, if with my body, with my DNA that I got from my ancestors, if you ask me to go and become a army man, let's say army major, I cannot do anything because I am not having this physical body that is fit enough to be in the front lines, army enemy lines. First thing will be fear, because that is in my DNA, and I cannot say that, how do you distinguish me, because that is not part of my DNA. Now when he says guna karma vibhaga shaha, that DNA is there. I have created 4 DNAs. That's all he says. 4 major DNAs. One DNA is called a educator DNA. Other DNA is called a businessman DNA, who can perform business. A person who is born in a Brahmin family may have gotten that business DNA and he would have become a businessman. As long as he is in that, he can do that business. He is part of one of the varnas. And then the Kshatriya DNA. Kshatriya DNA is the protector. They cannot stand if others are getting hurt, even though that person is the weakest. And if you ask me, I'm not physically that strong, but even in my mind also, if anything is happening, if there is some terror strike, I won't be there to protect others because my DNA is not made out of that. I will try running myself. First thing I will do is I will run and protect myself. That is my DNA. I accept it. But whereas a Kshatriya's DNA is made out of that protection, whether he dies or not, he will go and protect others. That is what he is made up of. And all such is his descendants, or whatever that group of descendants, the tree is made. And anyone can become, not necessarily that I'm born as a Brahmin, I'm speaking that way. Or there can be other men who will be willing to sacrifice their life to protect others. Then he is a Kshatriya. Right? It's not necessarily in terms of you are born a Kshatriya, you will be a Kshatriya forever. Not necessarily that. We can play different roles based on whatever that is ingredient that we are given, the DNA that we are born with. And such divisions are essential for society. Kshudras, those are the ones that most people hate to talk or discuss. There is not, as long as Krishna mentioned that I have made 4 varnas, out of that Brahmins are the best, Shudras are the worst. If he had said those words, then definitely it is wrong. But he didn't say anything. I created 4 divisions, which is like I created marketing department, I created finance department, HR department. That is how he had mentioned we have created 4 divisions so that the society can work and cooperate with each other. There should be one group to educate everyone else. In fact, the responsibility of the Brahmana is not to educate within the Brahmana community, but to educate everyone else, including Vaishyas, Shudras, whoever who is interested to learn, they should be given the knowledge. And likewise, Vaisyas, their responsibility is to make sure that they do business in a just way, not greedy looking for more profit, but to make sure that you serve the entire society. Others do have food. That is the responsibility of Vaishya. And then the responsibility of Kshatriya is the entire clan of human beings is protected. There should be one one group of people who protect the whole group of people, because all cannot go and then do. And Shudras are the runners. There should be runners, right? There should be go getters, where if you need anything, you needed strength in terms of your legs. That is why in Vedas it is mentioned that Shudras are born from legs of Vishnu, and Brahmanas are born from the head portion of the Vishnu. But still, we should not see something like, why Brahmana are head and why Shudra are legs. Are we so cheap? Those arguments are meaningless, because if I ask you, I wanted all of us at least to appreciate that. If I ask you in your body that which is the most important organ, can anyone will say that no, my head is the best thing. If you want to chop off my legs, remove it. Can anyone will say that? No, because every organ is important to make me alive, and I cannot give away any organ. Someone cannot say that if I have brain, that is okay with me, remove my legs, I'm okay. That is when we can say that Shudras are least important and then Brahmanas are more important. There is no such thing. In a body, every organ is important. Functioning of every organ is must. And the most efficient organ, there is nothing like that. Every organ is efficient. What if I have strong brain, but I cannot even take one step outside? I cannot do anything. Right? For performing any action, I needed all organs. And so that is the fundamental thing. It's made up of this body. The society itself is made up of this body, where every organ has its own functions to keep this body alive. Same way in a society, every division that I have created must be active and cooperative with others. So now in the previous verses that we said, live for others, that is manifesting the divine action, that clearly matches with it. I have created the 4 divisions intentionally so that each division can help the other 3, including themselves. Each division helps all the 4 divisions created by me. Again, lastly, one thing is, divisions are okay, but discrimination is bad. What is bad is discrimination. And who invented? He said that is why he said in the second verse, second line, even though I have created all this, know me to be the non-doer. I didn't do any such thing. What he didn't do, I didn't do any discrimination. That people have created it. People have the ability to invent things, and under that Brahmana we will just do the divisions, multiple divisions. Under Kshatriya 1000 divisions, under Shudra 1,000,000 divisions. All those divisions he didn't do. That we did it, our mind did it, right? And then we are blaming it on him. 4 divisions he accepts, he admits. That is for functioning, healthy functioning of any organization. You need to have divisions who people can do such actions. And also the prakriti which this body is made up of and this mind is made up of. Why few people have those thoughts of reading the Vedas, and they are able to pick up faster, and they are able to teach others, not necessarily Vedas, I'm even talking about modern research and whatever that is, right? They are able to understand, they belong to the academic DNA. So they are able to read it and teach others. Why few people are able to do a lot of actions? They are always action oriented, they will do a lot of actions and they are willing to do actions. That is because their DNA is made up of that. That is why he says in the previous verse, everyone follows my rule. The control is within me, because they are all born from a prakriti and I have divided them. This person. That doesn't mean that I won't be born as a Kshatriya in the next birth. This birth I am born as a Brahmana, and next birth I may be born as in a Kshatriya clan. So the DNA may also vary based on what I wanted to do. And once I am born, I picked up that DNA, I will start doing whatever that my DNA is associated with it. But what we do doesn't matter. Shudra doing, why Shudra should do such low levels? There is nothing like low level, high level. Every level is important, and every level aims towards bettering the people around us. If that should be the thought of a Brahmana, a Vaisya, a Kshatriya, or a Shudra, am I helping the people around me? Then I am doing the right thing, because that is what that spiritual energy inside me wanted me to do. Are you helping others? Are you living for others? It can be a Kshatriya who lives for others, then he is a Vaishnava. That is the Vaishnava Janako Tene Kahiye Re. That song is precisely states that who is called a Vaishnava, who lives for others, is called a Vaishnava. Right? With that, we come to the end of this session. I'll talk to you all with the next set of shlokas in the next session. Thank you. श्रियः कान्ताय कल्याणनिधये निधयेत्तिनां श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलम्. Okay. One question has been asked by somebody. Sailaja is asking why Paramatma is not stopping the kind of negative thing. Okay, so that is the question is, this is an interesting question. I want to answer this. I don't want to cut this call without, but we can stop the recording though. 1 second. Okay, so the